Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today, guys, we're going to be working on removing the C4 automatic transmission out of my 1967 Mustang. So we're going to start with just removing everything. So we got the spark plug wires and everything already out, battery out. Already got the headers off, as you guys can see. I just did that yesterday off camera. Pretty easy. So now I'm going to go ahead and just start disconnecting everything we need to disconnect. So I got my bags. I'm going to start labeling everything. But we got to do the starter. Just 2 bolts. Then we got to go through and get the, I think it's like 6 bolts on the back that are holding the motor to the tranche and the bell housing, and pretty much that's going to be it. I do think we have to remove the flywheel bolts that will be in the little inspection window kind of down there. I think there's like 4 or 5 of those as well, and then the U-joint, and that should be pretty much it. I think I do have some linkage. I don't really remember. I know my kickdown linkage was just tucked up out of the way from somewhere down in there. I do have the modular vacuum line, but that just pulls out. And then the 2 transmission cooler lines, which I'm going to take those off on the transmission. Hopefully I don't ruin them. Might have to end up replacing them though. They are new. Whenever I did my radiator a long time ago, you can see I have new ones right down in there, so I don't really want to ruin them, but I have to get the flare wrench tool up in there and get them, so that might be a little difficult, so we'll do the best we can. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'll update you guys when I kind of get everything disconnected, and once I'm ready to kind of really pull the trans out by itself. I don't have any help, so this is going to get a little interesting. You know, if I get to a point where I don't think I can do it myself, I'll wait. But I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna get jacked up and then have a pretty good idea on how I need to get the trans out of there. If I need to, I can wait till tomorrow and go grab a transmission jack from the Harbor Freight or something, but I'm hoping I can do it all without having to buy that tool, because really won't use it again. So and yeah, basically we're gonna be working on replacing the torque converter. I would love to do a T5 swap, maybe even an MT82 or TK. Really, TKX would be ideal. But it, honestly, it's just not really in the budget. And I don't really want to match anything to this motor anyway, because I don't know the condition of this motor. So previous to this, I've done basically took the heads off, did head gaskets, inspected everything. It looked pretty decent overall. And did the valves. Just, you know, had them looked over at a machine shop. So head gaskets up I've done, intake manifold, carburetor, random wiring, random hoses, random gaskets throughout, everything on the bottom side, rear main seal, oil pan gasket, let's see, radiator and hoses, so quite a bit. With all that being said though, this car sat for I think about 20 years roughly prior, so I don't want to put anything in there that would limit me in the future, especially because I don't really know the condition of this motor in great detail. So my thought process now is to go ahead and for a couple $100 I can go ahead and just fix the torque converter, drive it, and enjoy it. And while I'm enjoying it and driving it, then I can go through, clean up the engine bay, maybe start, you know, repainting some stuff. The whole car needs to honestly be repainted. So I can start working on that stuff a little bit and save up money to do a different motor and trans when and if this thing does go in the near future. I do go with a T5, really limited to about 300 horsepower, 300 torque. So at that point, I would, you know, don't want to spend, you know, $1,500, $2,000 buying used stuff, and then in a year or two, if I pull the motor because it goes and I have to redo the transmission anyway, either rebuild it or get something new. Because if I do end up replacing this motor, at that point, I think I would rather go with something a little bit more modern, a little bit more powerful. Just because that seems to be about where most crate motors live. You know, something a little bit more powerful. So for now, I think the easiest fix is just going to be to do the torque converter. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to keep removing some stuff. I'll update you guys when I'm ready to move. I'm gonna be all over the place, so I could put a time lapse on, but you know, I think it'd be kind of annoying. So me moving around, and also the fact that my phone's almost dead. So yeah, I was gonna start removing everything. Update you guys after I get everything removed. And if I find anything along the way that's interesting, I'll let you guys know that too. Okay guys, we are back. As you see, I finally got the drive shaft off. I had to go and get a 3/8 like flexible joint socket, and then that made it, you know, not bad to get. Yeah, I mean, it's a drive shaft. I'm gonna probably spend the rest of the night sanding, wire brushing this down. I do plan on replacing the U-joints there on both sides. Looks pretty nice to do while I have it off. And sanding this down with the wire brush, as long as the headers that I already have off, that way I can paint these. And I think I'll just do this in like a high gloss black paint or something, not entirely sure. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, it was a pain. So I'm gonna call that for the night. Tomorrow I plan on getting the transmission cooler lines off, and then I think the only thing I have left after that is the transmission mount and the flywheel bolts. So I'm really looking at the transmission. I was really going to try and get away without getting a transmission jack, but man, I think I'm going to end up getting one from Harbor Freight. It's about 130 or 129 right now, $129 right now. Kind of just looking at it, I thought I could maybe balance it on my jack and roll around and everything, but if I had two sets of hands, I think I would, but I don't. It's just me. So I think for 120 bucks, 130 bucks, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab it, which kind of stinks because I'll probably only use it one time, and we'll see, you know, kind of what happens from there. Everybody say, Luke says hello to everybody, and with that, we will be back tomorrow. Okay guys, we're back. I have two flywheel bolts I just cannot get off. I've tried everything, even cutting, which was a mistake because that didn't really help. So we're gonna have to grind these out with my little metal bit and air grinder here. Got the compressor hooked up. Oops, I gotta plug it in. But just spent about the last half hour or so going through all the lines. Last time I had a pretty gnarly leak, so I kind of haven't been wanting to use it. So I just put plumber's tape on it, on all the lines. Sounds like everything's good. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of using this tool. My flywheel, it doesn't really matter about my flywheel, guys. The teeth are so chewed up and everything on it that it's going to be replaced. But I'm not a big fan of this tool. Last time I ended up actually getting some metal in my eye, even though I had on safety glasses, and a ton of little metal shards in my hands. So I have gloves on this time. I got my safety glasses on, so really hoping nothing happens. I mean, I'm gonna put my hood on just to really try and cover not getting metal all at me. If I nick this flywheel and I mess it up, it doesn't matter. Not too worried about the flywheel. I was just gonna use my grinder and grind stuff down, but I can't get it up in there. So this is the next best thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put you guys, probably not even on a time lapse because it shouldn't take too long, and then I'll update you guys after. Okay guys, so we were successful all the way around. So took a little over an hour using this guy, and then I just hate using that. Just flings little shards of metal everywhere. But we were able to get all of our bolts out, so you can see that big shiny piece there, which there's everything we grounded off right there. And basically, just to show that we are disconnected, I just took my flathead and start moving in there. It's kind of hard to do. You can see it's not connected anymore, so we are good to go there. Now that is no longer attached. And then for the other one, sorry about this camera angle I'm about to do. I'm gonna be going kind of slow. Yes, I have all these tools. I've tried everything. So I actually went down to the auto parts store and bought one of these sockets, and that did the trick for getting the one off. Now obviously that bolt is wrecked, but at least it's off. I've tried the like easy outs. I have the easy out things. They just suck. I've never had good luck with them, and I've never had good luck with those like reverse thread ones. That is the only one I had that worked. Now I had to beat it on there with a hammer, which was kind of difficult to get up in there and took me longer, but no longer to get it on really nice and tight. The first time I did it wasn't on there that tight, and obviously it didn't work. So once I got it on there really nice and tight, it all came right off. So we are good to go. All those bolts are connected. So the only thing we have left holding it on is pretty much the transmission mounts, which I went ahead and loosened one side. So I'm going to get the vast majority of my tools put away and wipe down. And then the plan is to, get my trans jack up there from Harbor Freight. And I got a couple pieces of wood on there to get that guy strapped down. And then I hopefully should have it removed. We'll see. But I've only got my tools and everything picked up. It's starting to rain, so I'm only gonna get rusty. And so at least get those out. If I have to leave the car as is for another night and get it tomorrow, that's fine. The only thing is it's supposed to basically rain the rest of the week, so I don't mind getting a little wet. But if it gets downpour, then we'll call it. And then I have to figure out once it's on the jack how I'm gonna get it to work on it and service it. Very steep, as you guys can see. It doesn't look that steep, but trust me, it's very steep. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get it kind of back to my work area that I have. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I might just throw it off the jack, maybe into like a wheelbarrow. I don't know if it can hold the weight. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But it is starting to sprinkle a little bit, so let me get all my tools put away, and then hopefully go ahead and I'll put you guys on time lapse. I'm ready to try and lower that guy down. Hopefully it goes smooth. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous, just because first time doing it, you don't have a second set of hands. So, and I hope that I have the car lifted enough to where it'll all come out. That jack sits kind of high. I think it's about 8 inches or so. So we will see if that'll give me enough room to slide it out. I really just don't know. I don't think so, especially with those 2x4s to try and level it. I don't know. Let me get the tools put away, and then I'll play with it in time lapse and hopefully at least have it out. Okay guys, we got it out. That was painful to say the least, and I'm not exactly super thrilled with how I had to do that, just because I couldn't quite get my car up high enough without getting a little sketchy. I am so fortunate nothing catastrophic happened. I still have all my limbs. Didn't get smashed, even though whenever I loosened it a little bit, my hand was kind of near the little scissor in the front. So somebody's definitely watching over me, keeping me safe there. Thank you. And yeah, so when it comes to the operation of this guy, you just put a 1/2 inch drive in there, and I actually really like that because it went down really nice and slow. So which I think really made a huge difference. Yeah, and this thing has been touched before. As you see, I don't have like the inspection plate or the block off plate. So this transmission has been touched some point in its life. My kickdown lever, this piece here, this is how it came when I got the car. So I don't even know what this does. I think this is the kickdown. I know this is the shifter linkage here. Looks like we have a module of some sort. Oh, that's the, okay, so this goes on the neutral safety switch, which while I'm here, go ahead and replace it. Yeah, it's pretty, oh, that's my speedometer gear, which is awesome because I'll actually be able to tap that, get that in there. There's a acorn and rubber or bushing or something, some sort. Man, this thing is JB welded together, like, huh. And that's all very interesting there. But yeah, the Harbor Freight little transmission jack worked great. Honestly, no complaints with it at all. I fully expected that my transmission pan is gonna get ruined. I just couldn't get a good way really on there to get it, but that is what it is. Yeah, my transmission mount was, I mean, that thing's not good at all, so obviously I'm gonna have to get a new one of those. And those bolts, one of them seems to be sheared off, so luckily I can at least get to that and grind it. And then I'm gonna try and maybe put these lines on or see if there's a different solution, because getting these two lines, transmission cooler lines on there are just, they're very, very difficult. So I'm gonna maybe see if I can get some type of universal transmission cooler, which would be kind of cool, because then I could just put like an AN fitting on these, get to them way easier probably. I could run the line, the flex line, you know, down, and then install it, and I can run those to like the cooler. Have looked on Amazon, I know they have those, so I know that does exist. Oh wow, all right, pretty tired, so I'm going to get this to the back of the house. I think I'm going to jack it up and maybe put it in a wheelbarrow, I'm not entirely sure. And while this is out and I'm going to have to order some parts, first thing is finding a torque converter for this, for just a stock form torque converter. That's all I want, because you know, I don't know the condition of this motor, and I don't really want to sink a ton of money into a T5 swap, which I'm still debating, don't get me wrong, but a T5 swap, because anything else, one day when this motor goes, anything else I do, T5's not going to be able to handle it. It's just not with like the, what's it handle, like 300 foot-pounds of torque, 300 horsepower, and I know you can get the world classes and then the Z tuned, I think, or something, a little bit more, but I'd rather have something that I buy once and is a little bit nicer, and never have to worry about it again, and it can handle anything I would ever throw at it. So I don't think I'm gonna go T5, even though I want to. I think it'd be this car in the manual, it needs to happen. But then that also brings me to where I'm at now, to where I don't want to do this again. We're moving the transmission, this sucked. So don't exactly know what I'm gonna do. Gonna think about it, look at the budget, kind of see what's out there, get some ideas, so that might change. But for the most part, it's either you know, buy like a TKX, which is pretty hefty on the budget. At the time filming this, for full kit for a modern driveline, it's just under $6,000. T5 is just under, you know, just under 5 from them. So that's a lot, and I know I can get stuff used, but then you start adding in, you need the brake pedal. I want to do a hydraulic clutch. I'm going to do it. I want to do hydraulic. I don't have to worry about headers, and you know, need a flex plate, different flywheel, you know, all these different things. So I know you can get away with it a little bit cheaper for sure if you started looking around and sourcing your own parts, but then you're buying a T5 that you're hoping, or TK, which I can't find a used TKX, but a T5 that you're hoping somebody rebuilt right or isn't blown up. You can't really trust them. So in my area, T5s are going for about $1,200. So then that kind of, you know, Modern Driveline offers it, I think it was around $2,000, but then you're getting the warranty and you know it's done right. So it's like at that point, might as well just buy a new one. But then for $1,000 more overall, I might as well just get a TKX. I will handle anything you can throw at it. So I don't really know where I'm at. other than I can put a couple $100 into a new torque converter, just stock format, and basically just run it until it blows or until I get some more money saved up. So yeah, we're gonna have to do some research to get the torque converter. I know there's different sizes. I already talked to the guys over at the auto parts store and they let me know that they have 2 of them. I'm thinking I have the 10.5 inch, I think is what it was called. Not entirely sure. So I'll have to get that, you know, measured. I'll probably take it out and actually just bring it to the auto parts store because I've never done torque converter before. I don't really know what's going on with it other than you take off the bolts and twist it and you should be good. And then I need to clean out all this stuff really, really well. You can see where I grinded that bolt. This guy here, I mean, there's just metal shavings everywhere, which, again, I hate using that tool for that reason. Also, don't have a gasket. I don't know if there's supposed to be a gasket or RTV or anything. There's nothing. Let's see if there's anything on the other side. So that's a little concerning, but wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, this car's been through somewhat of a restoration at some point in its life, and it was probably just some guy doing the best he could do with what he had available. And kind of based on the parts, it looks like it was an older restoration, so parts weren't nearly as readily available, and you know, reproduction parts are much better nowadays than they were probably when this was touched. So yeah, let me get the camera going up here. I got a little light now, guys. It's pretty nice. Yeah, I got a light attached to the camera setup. Yeah, so there's no gasket, there's no RTV, there's nothing on the back of the motor, which is crazy. And my flywheel had a couple chipped teeth. I'd have to find them. Yeah, a couple over here, up in here, sorry. I don't know if it's gonna focus up in there. This one's really shiny, something was there, and a couple of them were bent pretty good, so. I'll probably end up replacing this. I think this is relatively cheap. I don't know how many teeth it is. Hopefully it says it on there somewhere. I'm sure it does. But I'll end up taking that out. And then while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the transmission tunnel and probably run the fuel lines and get out some of these. The old brake lines, I couldn't get the old brake lines out, honestly, with the transmission here. So I'll probably just go ahead and cut those out as well. Be a great time to do a steering box if I were to do a steering box, but honestly I'm not going to. If I end up doing a new steering, it'll be E-Pass. But I might just service that one. I really don't want to sink a ton of money into it, just because I haven't got to drive the car yet. And I got to do motor mounts. As you guys can see, that one doesn't even have a bolt going through to the frame. I knew about that, I just ran it, even though it was kind of sketch. It was just missing. So I do have new motor mounts. Got them used on Facebook, but I haven't planned a chance to put them in yet. Now I do. And I'm also going to be looking around these frame rails, looking for any rust and repair. Honestly, though, I'm surprised all of it looks good. I mean, I need to, you know, sand some of this stuff down. I'm going to sand all this down. All of it seems solid, which is really good. I think it's all been replaced. Yeah, there's like 3 pieces of that metal. Some of the places I didn't honestly weld that great because I couldn't get there. When I did the floor pans too, I'll weld that and then I'll undercoat all of this. So I got a lot of work still cut out, but we got the transmission at least out of the way. Need to get all new gaskets, obviously. And then I'll be asking around on some of the Facebook pages, things I should look at while I'm here. So yeah, here it is. That is kind of the update. That will conclude this video. I'll probably do another one when I actually get the torque converter in and install it. I will detail this and wire brush this whole thing just to get it all cleaned up and paint it. I don't know what color I'm gonna paint it. I think just like a nice silver as it would have came from the factory, really nice. Maybe black, but I feel like the silver would look a little bit better. Yeah, so we got a lot of work still cut out for us, guys, but we'll update you when I get the torque converter. I'll let you know which one I got. See if there's any way to identify without taking off the transmission, because that'd be really nice, not having to take off the entire trans to identify your torque converter if you need to, for whatever reason. Maybe something to do with the tag, if I even have a tag on this trans. Whatever this is here, this looks like a Ford part number. guess A means automatic or AOD or something, I'm not sure. So I'll have to do some research, but yeah, man, this thing needs to be, it's crusty. Like, yeah, so we'll clean that up. That won't be too bad. That'll be kind of fun, actually, getting it to look nice. But as always, if anybody has any tips or tricks, please leave them in the comments below. That way, if anybody finds this video along their Mustang restoration journey, they can hopefully get some useful guidance, especially because a lot of you guys who comment have done this before. And I've been getting a little bit more comments on my videos and some awesome tips on a couple of my older videos too that, man, I wish that I would have got some of these comments when I was doing whatever task I was at hand, because it definitely made sense and would have saved me a ton of time trying to figure things out. So really appreciate all the support, and we will get back to you eventually. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna do quite a bit off camera, cleaning up and everything, and you know, update you guys then. Thanks. Blooper, we were able to pick it up and get it into the wheelbarrow, so not too bad. It's only like 120 pounds, so weird weight, but we were able to get it up in there. So now I just gotta get back to the work center in the back of the house. So the wife is gonna have some new decor in our back porch.